Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a bankruptcy attorney with the Financial Law Group located here in Warren, Michigan. And I'm here to talk to you today about when it makes sense to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Now, Chapter 13 bankruptcy is the chapter that sometimes scares people off a lot because they say, oh, I don't want to go through bankruptcy and still have to make certain payments going forward. But there are certain specific circumstances where a Chapter 13 bankruptcy might make a lot of sense. Let me give you a couple of them. One would be, say you have two mortgages on your house. You have a large first mortgage and a large second mortgage. Chapter 13 has given us the opportunity to be able to wipe out the second mortgage on your home. That's an exciting opportunity that really is only available through Chapter 13, is not available in other forms of bankruptcy. So if you find yourself in that situation where you have a large first mortgage, a large second mortgage, and your home is worth less than you owe on your first mortgage, then Chapter 13 might be a good option for you. Another situation where Chapter 13 makes sense would be, say you're a relatively high income individual. Say I've represented doctors, lawyers, I've represented accountants, I've represented other professionals, I've represented people in just about every kind of field that you can imagine. Some of them have relatively high income. People like that in those situations may still have a lot of debt they can't deal with on their own. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy might provide you an opportunity to either create essentially a payment arrangement with your creditors where you're protected from those creditors, where they can't come after you as you're going through this process. And you oftentimes can pay them with little or no interest, which is oftentimes a big improvement over what the creditors are willing to offer you. And oftentimes we can do it at less than the full amount that you owe. And the last piece of it is you get to do it without owing any additional taxes. Something a lot of people don't realize is if you make a settlement with a creditor, the difference between what you owe and what you settle the debt for is actually considered taxable income that you need to pay taxes on. So if you're in a situation where you're trying to pay less than the full amount that you owe, you might end up getting a big tax bill. That's not the case if you're doing it through bankruptcy. So that could be an option for Chapter 13 for some people. Another reason that Chapter 13 makes sense is say you have a lot of student loans that you're dealing with, and you have a co-signer on your student loans, a parent or another relative. Chapter 13 has a provision, it's called Section 1301, and what that does is it stops your creditors from collecting from anybody else who is also a co-debtor on a loan with you. So if someone else co-signed on a loan for you and you're afraid that that the creditors are going to come after them while you're making payment arrangements with them, Chapter 13 might be a way to protect your relatives from them coming after you. It also can be a great way to try to either pay off student loans or to try to pay off taxes. That's another kind of liability that might be non-dischargeable in a Chapter 7 case. But pay it with either relatively low interest, sometimes getting rid of penalties, and those are some of the options that we can do with a Chapter 13. Another option that Chapter 13 can provide to some people would be, say you had a relatively recent bankruptcy, but something has happened and you need the protection that the bankruptcy court can provide you. If that's the case, then Chapter 13 might be another option because of the fact, number one, you have only 4 years between having filed a Chapter 7 and being able to file a Chapter 13 and get a discharge in the Chapter 13 case. It's only 2 years if your prior case was a Chapter 13 case. What's more is, even if you're not going to be eligible for a discharge, say you only filed Chapter 7 2 years ago, but you need assistance dealing with some creditors now, we can file a Chapter 13 case, get you the protection of the bankruptcy court, and protect you from your creditors coming after you, but simply make it so that at the end of the case you're not going to get a discharge. Chapter 13 can be a valuable tool for protecting people who are going through that type of situation as well. Of course, the classic case of where Chapter 13 makes sense would be, say you're behind on your mortgage payments. If you're behind on your mortgage payments and you find yourself in a situation where the mortgage company is not willing to work with you, or they're saying, hey, give us a check for $5,000 or $6,000, essentially an amount more than you have on hand, what we can do is file a Chapter 13 case, get you caught up in your mortgage payments over 5 years with no interest, and that's usually a better deal than the mortgage companies are willing to give you. If you find yourself in any of these situations and a Chapter 13 case might make sense for you, please feel free to give me a call. I offer free consultations. We're located in Warren on Hoover Road, right off of 696, so we're conveniently located for people who live in St. Clair County, Wayne County, Oakland County, and Macomb County. Please feel free to give us a call. Number is 586-693-2000. We're located at financiallawgroup.com, and I'd be happy to meet with you personally for free.